Everyone, Kelly Ball. I've been with James Madison University since August of 2025, so I think I am the newbie on the call. But before I get started, I just want to say, if you joined the introductory call, at the time I had shared how thrilled I am to be here. Now that I've had a little bit more time to bake, I am still thrilled to be a Duke and a part of the awesome admissions team that we have. And I just want to send a shout out to the admission office, several of whom are on the call with us today and some who are not, but will hear the recording. We wouldn't be able to give the updates today that we're about to give without the hard work behind what they do. So I'd be remiss to not recognize the awesome work that happens here and the amazing team that I have the privilege to work with. And I can't wait to continue my time at JMU with them. So jumping in. What I first want to start with is kind of what's new at JMU before we talk about the applicant pool. As some of you might be clued into, maybe some of you aren't, I'm also the newbie with our president, our seventh president of the institution, James C. Schmidt. He joined us in July, so a little bit before me. And under his leadership, we're really boldly moving forward. He really is charging us to look at the future of JMU and how that shapes out and challenge how JMU really plays on that national stage. And that kind of plays into our strategic plan. So we are aggressively moving through a strategic plan process that is very future focused and will have a revolutionary vision for the institution. I hope in the fall to be able to provide more updates. We are in the midst of pulling those pieces together, how we're going to do it, what the strategies will be. So very new, and I expect updates to come along the way. Not on our screen, but construction is also still what's going on at JMU, which is always a good thing. Our Carrier Library, which is one of our pinnacle locations on campus, is wrapping up soon. So your incoming students for us for fall 2026 will have a state-of-the-art library to experience at JMU. So that's really exciting. We've also had extreme success with athletics, particularly our football team. I'd be remiss not to celebrate their Sun Belt championship, as well as the first appearance in college football playoff against Oregon. While the game didn't go our way, it certainly is still a success we're extremely proud of. Even our name being mentioned at yesterday's game was quite significant as well. So we're thrilled about the things happening at the university. We are booming and we're excited here in Harrisonburg, and we're excited for the future students who are coming in and the opportunities that a lot of these things will lead to with strategy and new facilities and state of the art and kind of being that revolutionary vision, being bold for the institution. So pivoting to talk more about our applicant pool, kind of where are we, the reason you're on the call today. So January 15th, we are on the other side of it. So our applications are kind of wrapping up for us for the fall 2026 class of 2030. Good Lord, incoming class. To date, we've received just over 43,000 applications. If you've been following along with us over the years, if you've joined other webinars or have been watching our numbers, this reflects kind of flat growth for us from prior years. So from 2021, at the point at which we joined the common application to where we are now, we have seen significant and some significant growth with applications. And over that time, we saw that application shift in the trend from regular decision population growth to now we're seeing the trend in numbers on our early applications. So our early application numbers are extremely strong, but our total numbers have kind of leveled out. We are not concerned about this. We're happy about it. That stability that this will now provide us as we move into where we thought we would land over time, moving from the Common App, means that for some of our counselors on this call, some predictability and stability as you talk to your students. So we're excited for that for you. We're kind of excited about that for us. So it's that steadiness that's really wonderful. And that growth and early action is also a sign for us of strength. So with that, we're also seeing the continuation of strong academic profiles coming from the applicant pools. Your students are strong, which means that we have decisions to make, of course, about students who come to the university, but we're always looking at that and the university goals and how we can align the students coming in with that rigor of JMU academics. As I said, we continue to see the volume of the applicant pool for EA, about 73% right now for this year, which is wonderful. Our regular decision numbers are still being baked, so we're just under that 12,000 mark. That'll be plus or minus coming forward as we finalize the numbers. But the thing you'll also notice that again, if you've been following for some time, we're sitting 50% in-state, 50% out-of-state roughly. And that has been historically true as well as we've seen this growth in applications. You might see some discrepancy if you're doing math, and that's because we do have to finalize some residency reviews. So those of you with the calculator, just know that that's where that comes from. So again, we're really happy with where we're at, and we're really thrilled about what this means is now we feel that there's stability moving forward. That boom level has leveled out, and that's good. All right, let's take a deeper dive into our applicant pool. So diving deeper, we're seeing the split with our gender. We've got 60% female, roughly 40% male in that group of applicants. Roughly 40% of them are underrepresented. We're still seeing strength in first generation applications. In fact, we're about a percentage up from where we were last year. International is around 2%. So a diverse class in these ways. Where we sit right now, certainly still being baked, but again, still strong, strongly representative of the institution. What also comes with that is circling back to that in-state, out-of-state mix. We continue to see growth in the southern expansion areas out of state and strong maintenance in areas where we're popular, in New England, New Jersey, Maryland, places where out-of-state students love coming to JMU. And our reach remains consistent. We do have applications that represent all 50 states, the territories, and several international countries that fall into that 2%. So we're feeling, again, really confident about the whole pool. Now, breaking it down to the decisions that we're about to release. So early action decisions. I'm giving you all a little preview of where we're going. So I've seen a little chatter online about kind of where we are with decision release for early action. Making no promises, but our team is working toward releasing decisions before the end of this week. So hopefully at some point this week, some students will start to see some decisions in their Madison Applicant Center. We're anticipating these numbers. So roughly 23,000 students are going to, we hope, be thrilled to get a notification from us and in an offer of admission. And roughly 5,500 will get a deferred decision. So those deferred decision students, we're going to move them to regular decision. They don't need to provide us with any additional materials. We don't need that high school transcript. If it's in the Common App and we need it, we'll pull it down, but we don't need you to send anything additional. They don't need to send anything additional. No additional action is needed. Those deferred students are going to fall right into our regular decision review, at which point they'll receive that final decision as a part of our process. In total, it's a little early to say where we're going to land with our full picture of offers of admission this year as we think about EA and RD. But as we move through and have our future webinars, I'll give more context to that bigger picture as we move forward. But for right now, we're thrilled about our early action applicants. We're thrilled about the strength of the applicant pool, and we're excited to get those decisions on the street this week. So what does that mean then for what's next after decision release? Let's talk about financial aid. Our preliminary financial aid offers, including scholarship notifications, will begin to be posted in their My Madison Application Center by mid-February. So we need to get our process out the door. Our financial aid folks are about to get their engines going. And at that point, your students should expect to hear something in mid-February. I included a QR code here for folks who want to prepare or maybe share with their students who might have questions. Our financial aid team has a great library of videos that I would recommend taking a look at in preparation for the financial aid release. In terms of the Honors College, I know some of your students are applicants of our Honors College. The honors folks are eagerly awaiting our process to complete. The admission processes are independent of each other. And so upon our decision release, they can proceed with their decision release. So we expect roughly 2 weeks after our decision release from the Office of Admissions, your applicants who applied early action honors will start to hear decisions from the Honors College. It is possible from the Honors College that they could be deferred admission. And in that case, their deferred admission, I'm sorry, let me say that differently. It is possible that those students get deferred admission from admissions and the honors folks will pick them up in regular decision. I know if I got something wrong, Chris Gothard will jump in and correct me. And then for our honors regular decision students, they're going to hear in early April. So again, we'll have more to come about that for a later webinar, but just kind of setting that stage of what's next for your students. Playing that one step farther, regular decision, I've alluded to a little bit. We anticipate a decision release in mid-March. That's going to include those deferred early action students. We do anticipate a wait list this year as well. So just knowing what we anticipate and what our plan is coming up next. With that, I think that kind of takes me to the end of the nuts and bolts of the bigger picture. And I'm going to pass it off to Tori. She's going to talk about the decision types of early action and kind of what next and how we kind of baked these decisions. So Tori, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Thank you very much, Kelly, and hello again, everybody. For this part of the webinar, I'm just going to share some of the JMU decision information, details, and processes as it pertains to you and your students and what they may encounter with our decision release. So first, I'm going to share some popular resources that we often refer our students to as their emails come in. All links will be sent in the chat as we discuss them as well. So keep an eye out for that if you're looking to kind of see what those look like. With decision release also comes decisions from other institutions as well. So for students who do choose to accept that offer of admission from another institution, we do ask that they please submit the application withdrawal form so that we can update our records on our end and we know their intention of not pursuing their JMU application decision. Decisions also come with all the questions. So for those students who would like a breakdown onto why they received the decision or the status that they did, then they are welcome to submit a decision inquiry form for those answers. After doing so, their admissions counselor will then follow up via email with a detailed description on why those decisions were made for that specific student. For any changes in schedules, which are inevitable, they do happen throughout the year, we do ask that students please notify us before, if possible, or directly after that change is made. We do choose to admit students to the university based on the schedule that they submitted with their application. So we advise against schedule changes, especially for those admitted students. And a student can reach out to their admissions counselor for direct advice regarding any potential change or inquiring about if it's a good choice for them to change in their schedule. Moving on to a resource for you guys as counselors. Counselors can request a digital decision report be sent to them for the details of all the applicants in our pool and what those decisions are. If you do request this report, please be patient as the creation of the decision list is a manual process and it will give us, we will need a few days in order to produce that for you guys. Moving into the JMU decisions, the different statuses and what they mean. So for students who do receive the admit decision from JMU, firstly, congratulations. But there really isn't much needed from them immediately after they get that decision. The next step for them would be to start planning whether or not they should pay their deposit, which is going to be due on May 1st. For any students that may have external circumstances and might need a little help with their deposit, we do have a deposit waiver. If a student comes due and they are in need of a deposit waiver, we do encourage them to reach out to their admissions counselor for information on how to proceed with that. All admitted students will also be invited to our admitted student open houses. We have 3 dates, March 7th, April 10th, and April 17th. This is really a great opportunity for them to solidify any last minute feelings that they might have before deciding if JMU is the place for them. And programming will be all over campus, and it really is the closest thing to experiencing what JMU has to offer before they make that big choice on May 1. For students who receive a defer status, this really is a status. Having a defer status does not mean they have their decision yet. And the only action we need from those students at this time is their patience. The deferred status being not a decision just means that we have simply delayed releasing their decision so that we may review their application again before releasing it with the regular pool, as Kelly mentioned previously. This status does not mean that we need anything else from the student. We have everything that we need for their decision to be finalized. So please do not send any extra documents towards the student's application. If we find that we do need something, someone from our office will reach out to you directly to request that information. For mid-year grades, if your policy is to send them, you can do that and they will be received, but it is not something that is necessary for our process to proceed if you're considering whether or not to send them. If an admissions counselor has a question regarding your applicant's mid-year grades, or we see something that we'd like to get more information about, again, someone will reach out to you to request that information directly. We also recognize that the defer status can be extremely intimidating, maybe even disheartening to some of our students and your students, and know that those anxious feelings will come about. So if you do have any students that need to release some of that energy and feel like they're being proactive, then one thing they can do is email their admissions counselor their continued interest. We do ask that if they choose to do this, that they only send it to us once. And I also want to stress that we will note their interest and make every consideration possible that we can, but the academic record is still the priority within our process for making that decision. And then for any students who receive a denied decision, that just means, unfortunately, we're unable to offer them admission to JMU for the fall, and there's no further action needed from them on that end should they receive that decision. If a student is denied and would still like to pursue JMU and explore the paths to get here, then they can definitely look into our transfer processes.